Yo everyone, it's Joseph Torres, the Mad Boxing Genius from BoxingIQ.com, and I'm here again today to give you another in-depth prediction and analysis on the biggest fights that are coming up. And as November to Remember continues, on deck what we have is Carl Froch versus Arthur Abraham. Another installment of the Super 6. But before we get started, I just want to encourage you all to join the Mad Boxing Genius boxing fan page on Facebook. Boxing news updated 24 hours a day. Boxing articles, question of the day, quote of the day, lots of fan participation, rap with other fans about the biggest issues in boxing. Plus, we got something big going down on the page, before the end of the year, which is only about 5 or 6 weeks away. So, you know what? Take advantage of that. Sign up for the Mad Boxing Genius boxing fan page right here on Facebook. Now, so let's get to it. Arthur Abraham. Let's start with him first. Now, we all know what his style is. He's the type of guy who's a notoriously slow starter, but comes on as the fight goes on. And what he does during that time is he mentally and physically breaks down his opponent. So what he's able to do in the second half of the fight is either dominate it completely and pull off a decision, or he takes them out. It's one or the other, and that's his MO. He did it with Jermaine Taylor. I think he would have done it too with Andre Durrell had that been about a 15-round fight and he didn't knock him out while he was on the ground. But to apply this strategy against Carl Froch might not be the best idea. And if you think about it, Carl Froch, he's a man who's not easily intimidated. He obviously loves to fight, he loves to mix it up, and his conditioning is always top-notch. So really the best thing for Arthur Abraham to do is not try to win a decision and wear him down or try to knock him out late, but is to try to knock him out early. And for him to do this, all he has to do is step up the pace a lot earlier than he usually does and try to get Carl Froch in a dogfight. Because obviously Carl Froch, he loves to fight, and when he gets that adrenaline going, his punches become very wide, all technique and skill becomes abandoned, and he also likes to keep his hands low anyways. So if he can do this and catch him, which I think he will, I mean, Carl Froch has a pretty good chin, but he has been stunned in the past. It would be Arthur Abraham's best, he would be smart to try to take Froch out earlier than later and try to go for a knockout against Carl Froch to win this fight. Now, if he does knock him out, look for Arthur Abraham to use a counter right hand to knock him out. Carl Froch is very susceptible to right hands. I'll get into that in a little bit, but again, I'll repeat, if Carl Froch gets knocked out, look for it to be a counter right hand. Now, as for Carl Froch, here's the thing. We know that Arthur Abraham's going to give away the first 5 or 6 rounds. He doesn't throw a lot of punches, and even when he comes on, he still doesn't throw a lot of punches. So people take it upon themselves to either overcommit on their punches or throw 100 punches around. And that's how Arthur Abraham is able to wear his opponents down physically and get them in the later half. And Carl Froch, he doesn't have to overcommit on his punches. He doesn't have to throw 100 punches a minute. You don't have to do a lot to win the first 5 or 6 rounds against Arthur Abraham. That's one key. A second key is forget about the head. I mean, you can see a lot of people, they try to use their jab to try to penetrate that peekaboo defense that Arthur Abraham does, and it's not going to happen. He's too strong, and the gloves are so big, they just can't penetrate through it. Forget about scoring with the jab. Use the jab as a decoy. Use the jab to find your range, but really where he wants to concentrate is right here on the body. All right, that's where Carl Froch needs to focus on, and in other media reports, that's what he said. Speed and body punches are the key. So he's talking the right strategy, at least from what we're hearing. Another thing he needs to do is, if he is going to go to the head, he needs to loop his punches. Now, of course, Arthur Abraham, that peekaboo style, can't get anything through straight down the middle, but he's still open here and open here for the hooks, right on the sides. And he can get to that by hitting the body going back to the head. Or, if he's really, really determined to get him square on the face, best thing to do is when he's in range, throw an uppercut. Arthur Abraham, he's very tight around here, but he's still open around here. Froch gets in, land an uppercut, he can do a lot of damage. So that's one thing, and something that Carl Froch should not do is throw his punches from out of range. He likes to throw an uppercut from out of range, but Carl Froch, for whatever reason, is very susceptible to right hands. He can be timed, and as history shows, he can be hurt. I think, like I said, I think he's got a pretty good chin, but he can still get stunned a little bit. And Arthur Abraham has such a good counter right hand that Froch can get tagged, and if he gets hurt, you can expect Arthur Abraham to be on him until he finishes him off. So my prediction for this fight, I'm going to say Carl Froch by decision. The way I see it is I actually think Froch might lose the first couple rounds, just because he's the type of guy who likes to see what his opponents have. I think the jab and the right hand and the looping right hands by Arthur Abraham are going to be more flashy, win over the judges. But then I see Carl Froch starting to get into more of a little bit of a dogfight. I think at that point Arthur Abraham will start putting on the pressure, and just to keep Abraham honest, Froch is going to stand in there and trade a little bit, have little exchanges, and then I think the strategy is going to start to come into play for Carl Froch. He's going to start boxing a little more until maybe the last 3 rounds, last 2 rounds, the championship rounds, where I think it's going to be an all-out war. This is my pick for fight of the year. It could be a real boring match if Froch decides to fight smart, but history shows both men love to mix it up. So that's my pick, Carl Froch by decision, and be sure to stay tuned for the next prediction, the Mad Boxing Genius prediction, and don't forget to sign up for the fan page where you can take advantage of that big thing that's going to be happening by the end of the year. Alright, take care everyone, see you at the next video.